Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm going to be looking at what I think might be the best Lunchbox amp that I've ever owned. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so I have a pretty straightforward video today. It's nothing super fancy, super like brand new, something you've never seen before. This is an amp that's been on the market for years. And, you know, on a whim, I was like, I really want to try an orange. Like, I have 5150s, you know, I have the Stealth, I have the 6505, I have the rectifiers, I even have an Engel Fireball. And I never owned an orange amp before, and I was looking around to see which one was the most bang for the buck. Now, I don't really need a rocker verb. I don't need something massive. You know, I play at home mostly, and even when I do play with, you know, people, gig out, everything's mic'd, but I wanted something that sounded good, that was in my wheelhouse, more, you know, heavy metal, hard rock, but I also wanted something that was versatile, and so you're probably going, well, the Dark Terror only has 3 knobs. It's only 15 watts. How loud can it really get? And I'll be honest, I've had a couple amps come through my space here, one of which I did the Laney Ironheart 15, which was a 15 watt amp. And I've also had the PV Invective Mini Head, and both of those were cool. I just kind of got turned off to the idea of EL84s as being like a viable option. Now this amp comes with 2 EL84s, and it makes 15 watts, or you can attenuate it down to 7 watts. It only has a single volume knob, a single gain knob, and a shape knob that kind of takes you from kind of really kind of mid-focused, kind of nasally tone over here with not a lot of high end, to somewhere in the middle being kind of really kind of punchy high end, and then really scooped all the way over here. And we'll get into that in a minute when I kind of play with this. But I looked at videos, I listened to clips, and I just eventually went, you know what, I got to pull the trigger. It was either this or it was going to be the Dual Terror, which has got 30 watts and 2 channels. And everything I heard, I was liking this more. And once I got it, I was like, holy hell, this is a lot better or a lot different than I was expecting. I was expecting to kind of fight with this to find a good sweet spot. No, it was easy to dial in a sweet spot. And it's loud, and one of the things about it being an EL84 platform, which is something I noticed with other amps, it has a fair amount of low end. Like, it's got way more low end than I expected. And I was really pleasantly surprised by that. It's even got more low end than that Bugera 120 watt 1990, that JCM 900 thing that I was playing on a couple weeks ago. This overall, in terms of the price to tone ratio, if that's a thing, this might be the best amp I own in terms of what you get for what you pay for. I don't know, pretty lofty kind of thing to say there, but let's go ahead and get into the tones. And today I'm going to be running this budget EC256. This is an LTD. These also are some of the most bang for your buck guitars you can get out there. I've done some modifications to this thing. I put a set of Fishman Fluence Will Adlers in here, got some locking tuners. But to be honest, I've played EC1000s, I've played other LTDs and ESPs. This one it's stuck with me, and I don't plan on getting rid of it. So, cool little budget guitar. Technically, what I would call a budget amp. Used, these things are about $400 to $500. Brand new, they're about $8, but they're abundant. You can find them. The one thing I have that's not really a budget item here is the boost pedal that I have running in front of it, and we'll get into that too. This is from Lichtlaerm Audio. Lichtlaerm. Oh, man. I keep getting crap from all the YouTube guys who call me out for saying Lichtlaerm. And so I'm trying to get my German better, but this is Lichtlaerm Audio. This is their Now I'm gonna mess this up too. Aehasaetter. I don't know. I'll put it on the screen what it is. Aehasaetter Boost. It's a boost pedal. So unlike the King in Yellow, it's not a clipping overdrive pedal. It's a clean boost pedal with an integrated multi-band EQ here. And I'll kind of play with this too. Daniel from Lichtlaerm sent this to me to check out, and I'm really grateful for that. And I'm going to run it in front of this orange. So let's get to it. Okay, so without any boost and just the gain kind of in the middle, I'm going to keep the shape knob in the middle, volume kind of where I like it for recording purposes. And here's what I got. So with the gain kind of in the middle, what you're getting is a pretty kind of middle of the road, not super gained out thing going on. You could probably do some kind of hard rocky stuff with this. Now, one of the things about that tone is it's a little bit on the dark side, you know, come to the dark side. And with the shape knob in the middle, it just has a very neutral kind of balanced flat tone. As you go a little bit more to the right, and this is where I kind of like it. It opens up a little bit, so if I just kind of sweep around. That's where I kind of like the tone, just overall on this amp. You know, that's about 1 o'clock on the knob there. If you go all the way to the right, as you heard, you got that really scooped tone. Almost too scooped. But you can get like a really thrashy, you know, kind of older 80s metal tone out of that. If you bump the gain a little bit, it kind of helps it out. With the gain about like 3 o'clock. It's just impressive how much low end and like resonance I'm getting out of these EL84s. Powering this 412 cab. I'm not even powering a 212. This is a 412 and it's filling out the whole room. There's enough gain on tap. If you just wanted to run this without any kind of boost or overdrive in front, you got a decent amount of tonal variety here. The volume here is just a hair past noon. I could probably go up a little bit louder. It gets a little bit on the fizzy side as you turn the gain up. That saturation really pushes the power section, I think. The volume, you know, I could get it louder. without clipping. As you get the volume up, though, what you're getting is compression. There is a limit to how really out and into the open this can get with a 412 cab like this. This is running 8 ohms. It's loud enough to practice and probably do stage miking. But there's a limit. So once you start to get up into like the 3 o'clock and better range, you're just going to get some of that natural tube compression to kind of kick in. And it probably sounds pretty okay through the mic. With a really loud drummer, would this kind of do it for you? Maybe. I'm kind of on the fence of how well this would hang with like a super loud drummer. It is pretty loud, though. It's hard to tell when I'm sitting off to the side. If I were a little bit more in front of the cab, I think I would probably notice that it's probably loud enough to hang with, a practice session with the drummer. This, running through any kind of cab, this is a V30 cab, 2001 V30, so these are decent speakers. With the Mesa cab, for an on-stage mic setup, this thing is really cool. I just think it has a really good tonal character. So I'm going to go ahead and really quickly turn on the Aehasaetter Boost. Somebody correct me and tell me how that's said. I'm going to turn on the boost. I have the level not quite all the way up. This cut function on the boost basically shapes the low end and cuts it out to be a little bit tighter. I do think this amp could be a little bit tighter without running the gain too hot. I'm going to keep it there. I have the cut about 1 o'clock. And here's what I got with the boost. With the boost engaged, you're pushing a lot of signal, especially with these active pickups, into this amp. As you get the knob, the shape knob more to the right, some of that really high-end, crispy, fizzy stuff kind of pokes through a little bit more. I just kind of turn the cut function back a little bit so I'm not attenuating the low end so much. Now, with this boost pedal, there's an active EQ that you can engage. And when you do that, you can shape more of those frequencies. We have bass, low mid, high mid, and treble. I'll try to put some of what the sweep specs are on the screen here so you can see what those ranges are. So with the EQ on, I'm going to turn the high mids back to normal. One of the cool things about the Lichtlaerm Audio EQs is all the knobs have a center spot where they click into place, so you know when you're at unity. And these are active EQs, so it's cut and boost, not just one way or the other. So I tend to like to take the low mids and kind of scoop them out a little bit, just a little bit. That way I can pull the cut function back just a little bit. I usually like to boost the high mids just a tad. Now, by boosting the high mids, I'm able to kind of pull back the shape a little bit so I don't get so much of that fizzy high end. I can keep the gain kind of in the middle. I'm gonna keep the cut kind of straight up. I'm gonna a little more high mid going on. If you cut the low mids out too much, you get kind of this really percussive kind of low end sound going on. Turn the EQ off. And so the bass and the treble on this, they're kind of like bass and treble shelves, or low shelf, high shelf. With the high shelf, you can kind of attenuate some of those high-end frequencies. Don't quite get the pinch harmonics though if you scoop out so much of the mid. So this Lichtlaerm pedal has so much tonal control on it. anytime I do something over here, I'm finding new ways to make this sound even better. I kind of like pulling that shape back to the middle. I think almost any boost pedal that you put in front of this, overdrive or otherwise, you'll have the ability to just kind of push this to like the next level. But even with this EQ, I think all I'm doing is mimicking something like a TS9, where I'm making that top end and those mids, those high mids, a bit more forward, and just attenuating some of that low end. Even if I turn off the boost completely, I just think this is a good sounding amp, and you can scale the gain back a little bit if you do have a boost pedal. That's a really good, like, foundational just crunch. So when you go to boost it, you just get that extra bit of saturation and push. And then if you can add the EQ on this pedal. I take back what I said earlier. This would definitely hang with a drummer. I'm totally feeling a little bit of fatigue right now. I should probably be wearing earplugs. This isn't the loudest amp, obviously, at 15 watts, but being that I'm only up a little bit past noon on the volume, I think you would have no problem playing with a drummer. And like a full-in club situation, it might be a little bit cutting it close, but, you know, if you're mic'd up, it's perfectly fine. Either way, I just wanted to kind of, you know, mess around with this amp today because I got it, and I was kind of blown away by just how good it was. You know, Dark Terror, Orange, they've been around forever. This isn't a sponsored video. I mean, technically, this is kind of, you know, I got this pedal to check out. But this, you know, this isn't really a review of this pedal, although you can take it as such. I'll probably do a little bit of a deep dive with this pedal with a couple other amps in a later video. But I just wanted to check out this Dark Terror. You guys are always looking for interesting stuff, and, you know, I think when it comes down to the Lunchbox heads that Orange, you know, currently makes, you can't do much better than this one, especially for the high gain heavy stuff. I'm really digging it. I'm gonna probably integrate it into some other videos somewhere down the road. And anyway, hope you guys have a good holiday, and I'll see you later.